that Crawford is ducking. Whoa.
The problem with Benavidez is that I have no confidence that he can make 140 anymore. And not because he is pigging out or something. He's growing. He's becoming a much bigger guy. So I would love to make that fight, but I don't care what his father says. I don't believe that he's a 140 pounder. I believe he's 147 pounds.
Bob, you said that you wanted to have Sordo Ramirez fight Gennady Golovkin. Has there been any movement in that? I know he's still looking for an opponent, but do you think that's still a fight that you can make?
Oh, definitely. I think Golovkin, Tom Loeffler would rather fight Canelo. I don't think that fight's going to happen. He might even want to fight the English guy, Saunders. I don't think that fight's going to happen. If those two fights don't happen and Gilberto Ramirez beats Arthur Abraham, I would love his first defense to be against Golovkin. I think Ramirez beats Golovkin.
What's next for...
promoter? And Tom has done a great job with Triple G, but what would you do differently? Is there anything he could do differently to get him those fights that he needs?
Tom has done a great job. I don't want to comment that I would do... Of course I would do things differently. Every promoter does things differently. But Tom has done a first-class job with Golovkin.
Have you ever been in a position like that with a fighter where it's very difficult to get him a fight and you have to kind of maneuver around that?
Yeah. My crazy southpaw who fought right-handed, Marvin Hagler. You couldn't get him a fight for a long time.
What about Victor Postol? What's next for Victor?
Victor Postol is a great fighter. We're going to look to get him a fight, something in April, and then maybe put him in with Crawford in June or July.
Is that going to be the next build-up? Do you think that's like a big pay-per-view fight, him against Crawford?
No. I think it's going to be an HBO fight.
Muhammad Ali, icon all over the world. He got you. Because of him, you're in boxing. Does he ever joke with you, what did I do or what did he do?
Yeah.
What does he say?
When am I going to send him my checks?
74.
What?
He just celebrated his 74th birthday.
Yeah, he's 10 years younger than I am.
And what does he mean to the world?
Well, Muhammad Ali was more than just a boxer, more than just a sports person. He was a guy who stood for something, and he stood for a lot of things that were great, and he is one of the iconic figures in the last century. So he's meant a lot to everybody. He's meant a lot to mankind.
Anyone remind you of Muhammad Ali in our era right now?
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao.
Why?
Because Manny Pacquiao, in a different way, but somewhat similar, is somebody who cares about mankind, cares about his countrymen, and is not a taker, he's a giver.
Bob, if Manny were to continue to fight, would a Mayweather rematch be one of those fights that would kind of bring him out and be possible still?
I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a friggin' low-life boxing promoter. Question of what will bring Manny out of retirement, if he retire, is a question that has to be directed to Manny.
He said it'd be up to you.
He said it'd be up to me.
I think that's what he said.
Oh, you're talking about passing the buck.
Oscar Valdez is fighting Gradovich on the undercard. How do you see that fight playing?
That's a real crossroads fight. Obviously, it's Valdez's toughest opponent.
Is he the best featherweight prospect right now, Oscar Valdez?
I think so. I mean, but everybody's waiting around for Lomachenko to become a junior lightweight.
Well, is he going to be moving up soon? Is Lomachenko going to be moving up soon?
Who would you put him in? Which featherweight can compete with him?
I spoke to Egis Klimas, and he said he came here today just to talk to you about Lomachenko. Anything
Correct.
new?
Well, we're going to see a way that Lomachenko maybe can fight at 130.
Why is he going to jump up so high? Just because there's no one at 126?
Who else would you put him in 126? Who would stand a chance with him at 126? Nope. And these people aren't stupid. They know that.
So Bob, who's the pound-for-pound king right now?
What?
Pound-for-pound king right now.
I don't. Pound for pound king, I always found, to my mind, ridiculous. I think the best fighter in the world today, technically, is Lomachenko.
Bob, when this fight was announced, some of the fans were a little disappointed. What do you tell those fans right now that don't like this fight?
Well, if the fans don't like the fight, they shouldn't buy it. I think it's a terrific fight. I think that this is a different Timothy Bradley. This is a Timothy Bradley that has a lot more confidence than when he fought Manny the first two times. And I give Timothy Bradley a hell of a shot to win this fight. People want to see it, fine. If they're disappointed and don't want to see it, fine. You pay your money, you take your choice.
Hey Bob, what is your favorite Manny Pacquiao fight of all time and why?
Well, Oscar De La Hoya, because everybody said what a mismatch that fight was and that I should be put in prison for allowing that fight to happen. And the fight was a mismatch, except the other way.
How nervous were you during that fight, Bob?
I wasn't nervous at all once I saw. If you ask me how nervous I was before the bell rang, plenty nervous. Once the bell rang and I saw the first round, I wasn't nervous at all.
So looking back in the 50 years that Bob Arum's been in boxing, what are his 3 best experiences that you can look back? 3 things that stand out.
Well, I think the first Ali Fraser fight, the Hagler Hearns fight, and George Foreman knocking out Michael Moore.
Do you think some of the fights we're having today, we're going to talk about, like you just talked about those fights, because we talk about the classics so much. We've had some good fights even presently. Do you think we'll talk about those, even the Manny fights, all those kind of things?
Well, yeah, some we will, some we won't. You know, look how many hundreds, not thousands of fights took place in that era, and we talk about a handful of them. There were some great fights. Alexis Arguello and Pryor, the first fight was a tremendous fight. But it was a tremendous fight. We still don't talk about it a lot. So, you know, yeah, there'll be fights from this era that we talk about. There'll be a handful, but that's normal.
I have to ask you this. I know you're very close to Ronda Rousey. You invited her to your fights. She even offered money to buy tickets. She lost in a very bad way, devastating almost. What message would you tell her when you talk to your fighters and they lose like that?
Ronda, you're a great MMA athlete. You're a terrific wrestler. Don't get in the ring with a boxer.
What's the latest with Nicholas Walters? When can we see him again?
Well, we're talking Nicholas. It was a draw, but he really won the fight. So we're going to talk about Nicholas Walters maybe going against Lomachenko.
I was going to say, is that the next build-up?
That may be the next fight.
What weight would that be, Bob?
130.
So Lomachenko's okay with going up in weight? Because I know that was the break.
Yeah, he doesn't care as long as he doesn't lose his title. You know, remember, he's an Eastern European. They're crazy about titles.
Marquez might fight Canelo. What do you think of that one?
Who?
Juan Manuel Marquez, Cotto, Miguel Cotto.
You know, they're both terrific fighters. I don't know. It depends on how well Marquez's knee has healed. You know, you'd have to see. You can't make a judgment. I think Marquez is a tremendous fighter. We'll have to see what condition they're in.
Last thing I wanted to ask about, I thought Manny's last fight will be in Manila. Like, you went there the first time, 35, 36 years ago?
I didn't do that fight.
You didn't do Thriller in Manila? But you were there?
Thriller in Manila, yeah, I did that. But Manny didn't fight in that card.
No. Of course not. But I'm saying, I thought he would end his career in the Philippines. Was that something that came up at all in discussions?
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's appropriate for a senator in the Philippines to get in the boxing ring and fight in the Philippines. I just don't know. We'll have to play it by ear. I'll be over in the Philippines on April 23rd, that week before, for Nonito's fight, and I'll get a better feel for the situation at that point.
Who is Nonito fighting?
What? He's fighting the Hungarian top contender at 122. What's the name of the Hungarian? Badek, Gradek, something. So a good fighter with a great record. But that fight's made.
Appreciate it.